And welcome back. This is Waffle House Fight Night. I'm your host, Brent Carlson. Leading off tonight, authorities in California have uncovered a Lego theft ring where over 3,000 boxes of Lego sets were found in a house in the LA suburb of San Pedro. While two unidentified Aryan Nation gang members were initially listed as persons of interest, it was later determined that the perpetrators were three boys from Mrs. Zelwicki's fourth grade music class. Those are troublemakers from what I hear. Well, all charges were dropped against a Sutter County, California teacher who was discovered to be drunk while teaching her second graders in October of 2023. With a blood alcohol content of over twice the legal limit for operating a motor vehicle, she was still well under the limit for teaching 8-year-olds. I know I need probably that much just to get through the day. Well, the teacher was initially arrested for DUI and child endangerment, but was later released after it was deemed impossible to prove whether the teacher drove to work drunk or started drinking after she arrived. Although her car was found tied to the rope for the tug of war, this also proved to be unrelated. I mean, it would give you a pretty good advantage. Always got put on the front of that thing. Well, George Lopez apparently went full diva this past week as he stormed off stage after giving his audience a 3-strike rule where if the audience interrupted him more than 3 times, he would leave the stage. The paying customers fulfilled the rule and Lopez left his performance 30 minutes early. Although most of the audience was upset, the white people in the crowd did find out what pendejo means. You always learn different languages in actual situations. That's the only way to do it. Well, Will Smith is back on top of the box office after his latest installment of the Bad Boys franchise, entitled Bad Boys Ride or Die, crossed the $100 million mark over the weekend. And to no one's surprise, Smith reportedly performed all his own stunts. I think they save money on the movies that way. Well, Seinfeld alum Julia Louis-Dreyfus voiced her disagreement with her former co-star and creator of Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld, after he complained that comedy is becoming far too politically correct. Dreyfus continued on after the legendary sitcom with the insult-laden HBO hit Veep. Dreyfus goes into more detail in her new book, What to Say After You've Already Made Your Money from Politically Incorrect TV Shows. Now, it seems like a long title. Well, leaders from the G7 conference approved a $50 billion loan to Ukraine in its fight to push back on Russian advances. While the money is already on its way to the war-torn country, many of the leaders who approved the loan are showing concern on getting their money back after several calls traced from Ukraine were made to J.G. Wentworth. You need cash now. It's a catchy tune. It really is. While the leaders touted their accomplishment of approving the loan in a unanimous vote, they also showed unanimity in their low approval ratings from their respective countries. Many political analysts and statisticians put the numbers together, and they quoted the numbers as saying they haven't seen this many D-class boobs pushed together since the second season of Bridgerton. I mean, you got to put it in some way that's, relatable. Well, if you've been to the Golden Corral, you know that almost anything is on the menu. But the one at the North Little Rock, Arkansas location had just a little bit more than usual, as a customer at the restaurant gave birth to a 6-pound baby in the women's restroom. While the management was very excited for the publicity, they did ask the mother not to return as she violated the no-sharing policy on the buffet. I mean, they're strict about that. You can't get away with it. They're watching. Well, a new and controversial proposal has been floated in the House of Representatives to include women in the Selective Service Program. As of right now, only men aged 18 to 26 are required to register with the military contingency program, where they still will be able to go to the front lines of war in peace. A little shot across the bow there. Well, Rachel Maddow lamented on CNN's reliable sources that she is worried that if Trump wins the election in November, she would be imprisoned in a camp due to her criticisms of the former president. Now, while she didn't go on to say what type of camp it would be, she was hoping that wherever it is, they will be giving out only short haircuts. I don't know what that means. Oh, I get it. Well, a woman in Indonesia found herself at a medical clinic where she was diagnosed with the herpes virus. Doctors concluded that it was from her vaping habit of only 12 months. Like most of her vaping peers, she didn't acquire the disease from having too much sex. I mean, you kind of need to video yourself when you're doing that vaping pen. Well, a think tank in Canada released a report where they believe the U.S. is on the verge of civil war due to domestic unrest and unending inflation. The main concern of the study was how Canada would be affected and who would be supplying the Maple Leaf country everything. I mean, they have a little oil or something, don't they? Maybe they do. Meghan Markle has revealed to the media that she is unwilling to attend her husband, Prince Harry's friend's wedding over one key fear. Nobody likes her. Okay, that's an easy one. Well, in a weather story that hits close to home, a hailstone the size of a pineapple was found on a Texas Panhandle pasture after storms rolled through the area on June 5th. The near record size hailstone not only illustrates the power of nature, but it also tells us what happened to Seal's face. You'd think he'd get a little Botox or something. Well, political advisors for President Biden were on TV last week, revealing that they urged the 81-year-old candidate to focus more on the youth vote for the upcoming presidential election. In response, the president has scheduled 2 speaking engagements with the AARP and the American Legion Auxiliary. Seems like he could... I mean, they're younger than him, but... Well, the president was in attendance at a Juneteenth celebration and seemed to be eerily frozen while everyone else was enjoying themselves. It was later reported that Biden was simply surprised at how many, quote, tan folks made it to the front row. What he's talking about there. Well, Oprah Winfrey had to take a break after she suffered from a serious stomach virus that sidelined her from her book club segment on CBS Mornings. Winfrey's affliction was revealed by her best friend Gayle King, in which King later deeply apologized for revealing the information about Winfrey. Winfrey said that it was okay and then invited her to her weekly game of Texas Hold'em. I saw how that one ended. That not a good ending for you. Well, guys, that's all from us here at Waffle House Fight Night. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And thanks for joining us.